let's get right to CBS News chief medical correspondent, Dr. Jon LaPook, who joins us now. Dr. LaPook, the trends are very clear, and now we have states trying to reverse them by reimposing restrictions or slowing their reopenings. How quickly might we see a reversal with the numbers coming down again?
Good morning, Tony. Well, remember that there's a 2 to 14-day incubation period. So even if everybody stops being infected today, you're going to have people who were infected over the last 2 weeks, and you're going to start seeing those cases trickle out in the next week or two. But after a week or two, you'll see that little lag. The cases should start to go down.
And, you know, the reality is that this holiday weekend, many businesses will open their doors. They're going to want to do it. They know people want to come in for things. In Fort Worth, Texas, the owner of the Rail Club Live Bar is defying orders there. He told our Dallas-Fort Worth station KTVT why he plans to host a 4th of July party. Get this.
We're in a position right now where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? If either we do it and we get in trouble and we roll the dice and see what happens there, or we don't do it and we starve to death. We lose everything. So that's the position we're in. We're not doing this to be mean to anybody or cause problems. Our back is against the wall.
It's definitely a tough position to be in. Now, that bar owner says they will require masks and social distancing. So, John, the question to you is that enough to make it safe and prevent the spread of this virus indoors?
You know, nothing's 100% in terms of any of these measures, and the devil's in the details, Tony. So outdoors is safer than indoors. If you're in a restaurant, I would have a lot of qualms about doing that, especially if it's indoors. Everything has to go right. There are so many different variables. Social distancing. What about the waiters? Are they coming right up to you? Are they taking their orders? What's the ventilation? Ventilation indoors is so important. So, I mean, for me, this weekend, I'm telling everybody to stay home. I understand there are economic consequences to it, but, you know, our country has done things that are a lot harder than this. My father was a World War II vet, and may he rest in peace, but I'm sure if he was alive, he would say, you know something? Wearing a face mask, doing social distancing is nothing. It's a walk in the park compared to the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, you're telling people to stay home. The Houston Chronicle on its front page urging residents of that city to stay home. Young people seem to be taking on this message at a lower rate than older people. Understandably, they seem to be less at risk of complications themselves. However, they can infect other people. So what's your message to young people who may not be taking this seriously?
You know, people think they're immortal when they're that age. Young people can get sick, but I think the bigger picture is one of society. I mean, do we really have to say hashtag don't kill grandma? That's what we're talking about. I don't want to put guilt on anybody, but I think people have to realize there are consequences to getting infected and spreading it to people who are vulnerable. They can die. This is something where, as a society, we have to be together on.
I don't think we should be shy about guilt. Guilt is a powerful motivator. People should ask themselves, how will they feel if they contract it and then pass it on to somebody else? We've heard Dr. Anthony Fauci talk about these spikes that we detailed, calling them disturbing. Where do you see the country going if we don't change direction?
You know, I spoke to Tony Fauci about 25 minutes ago, and he is very, very concerned. 50%, you know, taking care of 50% of the country in terms of lockdown or being very careful, it's just not enough. When you look at Europe, it was way over 90% of people who followed the plan. Everybody was on the same page there, or rowing in the same direction, whatever the metaphor is. But Europe went up and down, Asia up and down. People were wearing masks like they're supposed to. Here, I have faith in America's ability to do great things. I really do. I think we can all do this together. But everybody has to have one unified message. It can't be, well, anything having to do with politics, whether you're Republican or Democrat. We all should have one goal here, and that's to try to flatten this curve, get it down. And by the way, once you get the cases down, let's say we were all inside for 14 days and everybody wore a mask, especially in places of the country where we know that there are cases, if everybody stayed inside, then it would go down dramatically, and we would be able to do the contact tracing. That could then start to be effective, where we can find people who are infected, find their contacts, and isolate them. That's how people have done it in other countries, and we can do it here, but we just have to have the resolve to do it, even if it's painful to do it.
Yeah. Dr. Jon LaPook with a very clear message today. Stay home if you can this weekend and stay safe. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.